Hello, traders. Thanks for joining me this morning. I'm back doing this TraderBite this morning. It's been a struggle. I know the market's open. It's a little late. Not sure why it says live chat's currently unavailable. Why can't I see you? Um, Not really sure. Anyways, thanks for joining me this morning. It is Tuesday, the 17th of June, 2025, about 8:38 here in Chicago. I want to remind you that derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Here's the pre-market summary sheet. Whoa, don't like that video. Hang on. Let's correct that. Me no likey. Okay. Um, Here's a pre-market summary sheet brought to you by Convergent Trading. For more information, go to convergenttrading.com. This morning, the overall action has been balanced in the overnight session. The volume's been okay, 196,000. The inventory is 100% short this morning. The range is 48.5 points. As I said, the market is already opened. It's a little soft today, but the S&P is within a couple of rotations from being break even, going back to break even. So no biggie there. Um, the news, it's been pretty light given that, you know, the Iran issue is still ongoing. But we did get the German zoo economic sentiment indicator, came in at 47.5, much higher than the 35 expected. Retail sales this morning at 7:30 came in slightly worse, 0.9% versus 0.7, and we had export import prices, but you have your own calendar, and I'm sure you can find these things. We do get business inventories today at 9 Central, 10 Eastern, expecting 0%, and an NAHB housing market index as well, expecting 36. And then that's pretty much it until the balance trade this evening from Japan. The Fed blackout period has started, and it goes through till Thursday. And then there's the G7 summit yesterday and today. The U.S., I think Trump has decided to leave, citing Iran. Trump, I have not reached out to Iran for quote unquote peace talks in any way, and everyone should evacuate Tehran, which is causing a panic. Not sure if you saw the videos of these long lines of cars trying to leave Tehran. UK-US trade deal still not fully completed. Trump EU is not yet offering a fair deal. There's a chance of a deal with Japan, but they are tough. Trump says he'll probably extend TikTok deadline again. Really bothers me that we're not getting. I can't see you guys. One of the best things about the TraderBite has been the actual engagement. Those of you who are in the Discord for Convergent Trading, would love for you to go in the lounge and tell me that the sound is good or that you're seeing it even. Kind of feel like I'm talking to myself. So anybody within Convergent, go to the Discord lounge and just let me know if the sound is good and the screen is clear and so on and so forth. Okay, let's get down to it. What's going on with the market? So let's get the trading platform up. Here we go. Okay, so let's start with the ES. ES, just the bigger picture. I'm going to pull up a TPO chart. Yesterday, the ES broke the one-time framing down that it had started. You know, it started breaking lower. And then the Friday, it confirmed one-time framing down. I don't like this color. Let me change it real quick. This is all kind of a trial thing, I guess. Getting back into the swing of it after being off exactly 14 months ago. April 16th of 2024 was the finale of the TraderBite. So exactly 14 months ago is when I stopped. So you can see the one-time framing, and then yesterday we opened at the low, went down 4 ticks, and shot up. And for the most part, yesterday we had we had a pretty decent one-time framing up on the brackets. You could see breaking higher, and then we had this pin bar, and really the idea of holding on to a long becomes a little more precarious once this bar gets broken right here. This creates a market structure high, and it did get broken, and it came down. And the expectation yesterday is it was likely to move back. For those of you who are in yesterday's Discord broadcast, 85 was the expected test area. It went to 80, so that managed to test and then push up to settle at 89.75 or 90 basically. So we ended up settling yesterday right on top of the point of control, a P-shaped profile, very clear short covering kind of rally yesterday. This morning we're gapping down. We gapped open out of range this morning. You can see the open is right below yesterday's low. The idea here is if it gaps within the range, then there is those of you at CT should know, there is a 70%, 70-ish percent probability. Let me pull up the market stat report here from this month. And I can tell you that if it had opened inside of the range, we would have seen, here it is, boop, there's the market stat report, again by Convergent. Opening location, open within range, touching the prior close is a 74, right there, 74% probability. Let me clear this, show you this. Anyway, you weren't planning on trading the first 15 minutes of the day, were you? There it is, 74%. So if it had opened in range, tested up with a weak pullback, then the trade, and what I expect it to be the primary scenario today, is a run back at the 60.89 this morning, and it's just not showing its hand that way. What we've done is we've opened below the range. We've opened below the range, which puts us in this kind of in this bracket, looking at these statistics for our setups this morning. So this morning, you know, it's teetering in and out of the range. We're in yesterday's excess. That excess continues. Again, I got to shift colors. That excess continues. What I should do is just blast your screens by broadcasting in 4K resolution. All the way back up to 80. Oh, see if I can get it. 80, 82. Oh, barely pulling it off with the mouse. 80, 82 is the big line in the sand for me. So if it does stay back in the range and continues higher, I'm still not looking for a strong long bias until it takes out 80, 82, gets through, holds, and then that sets up the 90 in that situation. Otherwise, I'm expecting this thing to just waffle around. You know, yesterday that low that we're at right now at 66 was an excess, but you can see today it's balanced. This is a clear change in the way this thing is playing, and we have a naked point of control beneath us at 54. The key target today is this low volume node at 50, right? So the secondary scenario had it, you know, my primary scenario is when it was opening in range. Now the primary scenario is a test of prior range like it's doing, and then the expectation is it's likely to extend lower into the 50 this morning. That's what I'm looking for here. Let's take, I don't want to spend too much time on a single product. You can see the order flow here. The order flow is kind of all over the place. Some areas of congruence here, but overall, it's balanced. It's testing both sides. The order flow is mixed. You can see the net delta is not that negative. It's slightly negative. It's not that negative. It's like negative 800 or something like that. It's not very, it's not telling us very much. So we're trading on top of the overnight DGPs, day generated prices, and it's you have a sandwich with the overnight point of control, um, the full session VWAP, full session mid, the open, the RTH VWAP, the RTH mid, all in one spot. This is a good time to be listening to me instead of trading because it's not all there this morning. The rotations are quite even. You could see here the rotations just bopping back and forth. There's really no consistency in the rotation. So right now is a good time to keep your hand off the mouse. So that's the S&P in a nutshell. If it stays below the 80-82, I'm looking for chop balance. But if it starts to break lower, remember, balance leads to imbalance. If it starts to break lower out of here, then we're looking for, what's the number? 50. Hate that the chat is not working this morning. I'll have to do some testing to see what's up with that. Crude, my other favorite product. Let's let this chart reload. Crude has been just absolutely all over the place. Crude has seen a lot of geopolitical action, and you could see from last Thursday to Friday, this is Friday's trade, this is yesterday's trade. It's just wacky. It is holding this new area of value that it has created right here in crude between 71 and 75 or so. This is really, crude has no inputs currently. It's not a, in my opinion, right now, it's not an obvious trade. When I look at crude overall, look at how this is set up. It's really rough in here, right there. So it's pretty choppy. Crude is a great product for structure, but overall, it's not conducive to just wanting to jump back in. We're trading right against last week's close. There's not been much of a material change in crude. You can see the order flows all wacky in here. See those really choppy areas right here? Lots of imbalances to both sides. There's no overlap in the footprint. Not the best situation here. Looking at the NQ. NQ following along in the footsteps of the S&P, but the NQ actually is opening in range, and it has basically that same stat. So the expectation this morning for NQ is that we are likely, and this may pull the S&P up with it. Here's the NQ stats report, market stats report. The NQ 70% instead of 74.5% or so. Pretty good sample size. Looking for the NQ to drive up eventually. So the S&P may get dragged up there, and as long as it's maintaining below in the excess right here, below that 21,900, the NQ is expected to be choppy. Look at what it did yesterday. It opened, pushed up, came back down, and then just went sideways. So to me, the NQ just looks like it is not it's accepting these prices down here in yesterday's excess, which means that the higher probability is for a choppy NQ. So NQ scalping edges, scalping outside in until there's a break. As long as it stays below 21,900, I'm really not expecting much. The overnight stat still open currently. We'll see how it treats that, and if it pushes through 21,900, then it would very, very likely get back up to the prior settle for that statistic, and then it'll have the overnight stat just above there at 21,952. If not, if the NQ breaks below the overnight low for the overnight stat, what the heck is the overnight stat, right? Is that what you're asking? Let's take a look at that. The overnight stat is, where's our overnight? There we go. The overnight stat is a 95 right here, 95.05% historical probability on 747 samples. That's 3 years that the overnight high or low will be touched. Were touched in the past, not will be, because we can't tell the future. So, if it's not able to push through the 21,900, then the expectation is the overnight stat. If it gets the overnight stat, then we are very likely to walk ourselves back down to that 21,630 area, and that becomes the key target, basically the balance from down here. Okay, that's what I've got for you for today. That was a long one. How long did I go for here? Let's see. I don't know. But I'll try to 16 minutes. I'll try to do these on a more regular basis. Please understand that I'm not doing this on a daily basis. If you want to be notified when this broadcast happens, be sure to subscribe on YouTube. And you can do that by pointing your browser to ft71.com/YouTube and hit subscribe. Turn on the alert button, and that'll send you a note for when this happens. These are going to be generally pretty random, but I'll try to do 1 or 2 a week just to kind of keep things moving along. Is that cool? I'll catch you the next time. Take care.